When you hear the name Shammai, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's this image of a harsh, grumpy, unwelcoming sage, a guy who is all about the strict letter of the law. But what if that whole picture, the one we've all been taught, is just wrong? What if by focusing on one single story, we've completely missed the genius of the man?
Okay, so this is the story. This is the one that defines him. A guy comes up, makes what sounds like a ridiculous request, and Shammai, who, by the way, was a builder by trade, he literally shoves the guy away with a tool from his day job. He comes off as impatient, rigid, and yeah, kind of rude. And for 2,000 years, this story has been his entire reputation. But it's not the whole story.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because that same man, the one with the measuring rod, taught one of the most beautiful, open-hearted lessons on how we should treat other people. So what gives? Was he just a massive hypocrite, telling us to do one thing while he did the exact opposite? Or is it possible there's something much deeper going on here? That maybe, just maybe, we've turned a complex, brilliant teacher into a simple cartoon. And in the process, we've missed the entire point of his life's work. Let's go right to the source. This is from Pirkei Avos, the Ethics of Our Fathers. This is Shammai, in his own words. And if we really listen to what he's saying here, we're going to find the key to solving this whole puzzle. So here it is in English, 3 instructions. But these are not just 3 random tips for a good life. Nope, this is a blueprint, a precise 3-part plan for building a life of meaning, designed by a man who knew exactly how to build things that last. You see, to get Shammai's teaching, you have to get Shammai the man. He wasn't just a scholar sitting in a study hall. He was an engineer, a builder. And his entire way of seeing the world was shaped by that. He saw life as a structure, and every good structure needs a solid blueprint. Now, Shammai was a big deal. He was the head of the Jewish high court, the Av Beis Din, and he served right alongside the famous sage Hillel, and they were like 2 sides of the same coin. While Hillel was all about chesed, that expansive love, Shammai embodied gevura. Think of gevura as discipline, strength, setting clear boundaries. And he was known for being unbelievably strict, but mostly with himself. This was a man who believed that if you're going to build something that lasts, you need precision, you need standards. So let's dig into his blueprint. Rule number 1 is the most important because it's the foundation for the entire building. The key word here in the Hebrew is tshiva. It means fixed, permanent, unmovable. Shammai is saying your commitment to learning, to growing, has to be the main event. It's not a hobby you fit in when you have some spare time. It's the big, concrete block in your calendar that everything else has to be scheduled around. I mean, think about it. A builder doesn't wake up in the morning and say, am I in the mood to pour a foundation today? No way. The foundation is non-negotiable. And Shammai is teaching us that our spiritual life, our intellectual growth, needs to be just as solid. It can't depend on whether we feel motivated or have enough energy. You lay the foundation first, always. Okay, so the foundation is poured. Now you have to build the actual structure. And to do that, you need integrity. The Talmud gives us the absolute best example of this idea in action, the patriarch Abraham. When 3 strangers show up at his tent, he runs out to greet them. And listen to what he offers. It's so modest. Let me get you just a little piece of bread. A piece of bread, right? But what did he actually deliver? A full-on, multi-course feast. He got the best cuts of meat, fresh butter and milk, the whole shebang. He promised a tiny snack and delivered a royal banquet. That contrast, that's integrity. So here's the takeaway. Shammai is teaching us that our character, our credibility, is built in that space between our words and our actions. We live in a world that's full of big talk. Shammai says, stop talking, start doing. Underpromise and overdeliver. That's how you build a life and a reputation of absolute rock-solid integrity. And now we get to the final piece of the blueprint. And this is the part that seems to totally contradict that first story we heard about Shammai. But this isn't just tacked on at the end. This is the doorway. This is what makes the whole structure usable. The great sage, the Maharal of Prague, explains why this teaching had to come from Shammai. He says that a person whose nature is gevura, whose personality is all about discipline and structure, can easily come across as cold or harsh. Shammai knew this about himself, so this isn't hypocrisy, it's radical self-awareness. It's Shammai saying, look, this is my natural tendency, don't make my mistake. He's telling us, build with discipline, absolutely, but for heaven's sake, don't forget to build a door. And that just nails the metaphor, doesn't it? What good is a perfectly built house with a strong foundation and amazing integrity if nobody can get inside? It's not a home, it's a fortress, it's a prison. Shammai understood that all your personal discipline and high standards are worthless if they make you unapproachable, if they're not balanced with genuine warmth and a welcoming spirit. But you can't understand Shammai's blueprint in a vacuum. To really get it, you have to see it as one half of this legendary partnership, the dynamic between him and his colleague, Hillel. Hillel is chesed. He's the love, the expansion, the impulse to go out and bring everyone in. Shammai is gevora. He's the discipline, the structure, the guy who makes sure that when people arrive, what they find is solid and true. Hillel is the mortar. Shammai is the bricks. You can't build a wall with just one. You absolutely need both.
And this is the Talmud's final word on all their famous arguments. It doesn't say Hillel was right and Shammai was wrong. It says both these and those are the words of the living God. It means both points of view are essential. They're both part of a bigger truth. The goal isn't to pick a side. It's to learn how to hold both of these energies in a healthy balance.
So, what does this ancient blueprint mean for our lives today? Well, Shammai the builder gives us 3 really clear, actionable steps. First, build your foundation. Figure out what your personal Torah is, that core commitment to your own growth, and make it a non-negotiable part of your life. Second, build with integrity. Let your actions shout louder than your words. And finally, number 3, build the doorway. Remember that no matter how high your standards are, your face is the entry point. The way you greet another person is what turns your life from a prison into a home. So Shammai wasn't a hypocrite. He wasn't a villain. He was a master builder, giving us a complete architectural plan for a well-built life. He teaches us that a good life needs structure, it needs integrity, and it absolutely, positively needs a welcoming door. So the only question he leaves for us is, what foundation are you building today?